salvation saint is St. Paul of Tarshish, aka Saul, but we know him as St. Paul. His favorite parts about being a parent? There's a lot of joys. Sometimes kids are irrational and they start crying and raising a stink at times where they shouldn't be. So yeah, that's a challenge, but it helps us grow in love, and that's what the vocation's all about. I would have loved Jesus earlier. It would have saved me from a lot of stupidity throughout my life and a lot of emptiness, to be quite frank. It was in college where I came to know the Lord, and through no fault but my own. So if I had an opportunity to change that, I would, but then my story wouldn't be as fun or relatable. I started helping out at my local church, and I enjoyed the aspects of youth ministry, and I knew that I had a passion to share what was important to me, and I know how God had done so much in my life, so I wanted to communicate that to people in my generation who I knew maybe didn't understand their faith, or they weren't as excited, or they didn't see the purpose of why these things are important. So that's how I got started initially, and then through various adventures and journeys that God took me on, it obviously grew and developed into what I'm doing today. So that's kind of the long and the short of it. Your life is a gift, and that might sound cliche, but it's true. Your life is a gift. Everyone's here for a purpose. Your life has value and worth despite all the madness that may have unfolded to you or because of you. You're not the sum of your failures. You're the sum of the Father's love for you. You're the sum of God the Father's love for you. Everyone is unique. If you don't believe me, ask the FBI. If you do something sketchy, they'll find you. You have a unique set of fingerprints and DNA, they'll find you. But regardless of being found for something sketchy, we're all here for a purpose to do some sort of good with the time we've been given. And so when God says, I know well the plans I have for you, and he says that I've written your name in the palm of my hand, that's pretty intimate. So when people feel hopeless or they feel worthless, it's usually because they misunderstand that God loves them so much. They don't understand. They misunderstand him because they don't understand how much they're loved. And they misunderstand their life because they don't know how much they're loved. And my hero, once again, St. John Paul, he says, human life it only makes sense to the degree that we make our lives a gift. So once people understand that their life is meant to be shared as a gift to other people, that's when it's fulfilling. But up until that point, it's just a sort of like navel-gazing, selfie-taking, sort of empty void. Do you know what I mean? And so that's all I got to say about that. Well, once again, there needs to be a lot of convincing of the heart, and that's not solely my work, that's the work of the Spirit, right? But I think when people understand, once again, the value of their life, and why they have inherent worth, and why every life is valuable, then it makes sense, at least to rational people, as to why then life is always worth living. Love is always worth choosing. Because regardless of a person's belief system or ideology, we're all hardwired. God created us all, and so there's this fundamental desire and need in each of our hearts to love and to be loved. It doesn't matter what religion, what country, what culture, what race, ethnicity, or gender you're a part of, it's hardwired. And so if we can tap into that reality and that truth and communicate it in a way that's helpful for people, then I think people will be more convinced. I think the biggest challenge we all face, not just myself, is the constant need to better ourselves. There's a struggle, there's a challenge, there's a battle in each of our hearts to be the best version of ourselves. Whereas there is this propensity for us to be lower versions of ourselves, and I see that whether it's like road rage or whether it's like me waking up too early and being cranky at people, or just struggling with a certain type of sin. And so that struggle of being vigilant and constantly wanting to grow and better myself through the grace of Christ, of course, is probably the biggest challenge. But I have hope that through Christ I can do all things through whom strengthens me.